Hey, so I'm just going to rip through this and fully read out this. Well, I actually need these on. My whole response to him sending me a threatening email he was going to send, trying to, which actually contains some lies about me, and trying to it's a bunch of lies basically about me. Just trying to make my situation worse, which he was a part of during last year and fully aware of. And we were in a long distance relationship, and we were going to join our lives, and he invited me out to Melbourne several times. Anytime I tried to discuss the boundaries that he crossed, I was rejected. Okay, Grant, let me make sure I'm understanding this correctly. You, the man who kept me a secret from his ex-wife, that's Teresa, for years while sharing your location with her on Life 360 and hanging out with her behind my back while at the same time courting me, who retracted your invitation to Melbourne not once, but multiple times, leaving me scrambling with no job, no home, and no plan, who used me for sexting for months while dodging every real conversation you promised to have, who ghosted me for months after promising to have a real talk in November. So he promised to have a talk with me on whatever it was that he wanted to resolve in the relationship, which I was totally willing to do, welcomed it, and waited around for it. And then just said, nah. So the reason I'm actually talking about this is because of how much this has gotten twisted and how much I relied on him last year and how much he not only lied to me, but just fell through. And by the way, I did send him a birthday present last year, and yeah, I participated in the, whatever, being sexual with him, but I'm never gonna do that again. I'm not one of those type of girls. Nope. Yeah, I broke some of my own rules for him. Who ghosted me for months after promising to have a real talk in November, who blocked me on Christmas, mind you, after I had sent him a peaceful message, really peaceful. No, I was not nagging. No, I was not bitching, moaning, anything of the sort. It was peaceful. I asked, could we have a nice conversation, just like say hi on Christmas? He later said I threatened that I would just call him anytime that was a threat. And I said I would call him on Christmas. So then he blocked me. It was very nasty to me. Really, really mean. We weren't, because after November, We didn't talk for a few weeks. I didn't pursue anything. I didn't try to chase up this conversation we were supposed to have. Nothing. And then Christmas came around and I said, hey, let's just have a peaceful, just say hi. Can we say hi on Christmas and wish each other Merry Christmas? That's it. He blew up and blocked me. Who blocked me on Christmas while I was alone crying over videos of my children, who couldn't even muster a phone call that day, but could apparently manage a barbecue with Teresa. You are now threatening to contact my family to tell them I'm unstable. After all the back and forth, believing his lies. You want to talk about unstable? Let's talk about a grown man who promises a woman a home, watches her lose everything, counting on that promise many times over, then blames her for his car accident because he was thinking about her. Let's talk about someone who ghosts for weeks, unblocks to sext, then gets his emotional needs met, then blocks again like a teenager managing his Instagram followers. Let's talk about 8 breakups with the same person because you lack the spine to either commit or walk away cleanly. And by cleanly, that means not just like you're mad at them one day, so you just ghost and block them and, in the middle of some disagreement you have or something like that. Okay, well, and then just say fuck you to them. Okay. And wait until I bring up a real concern and then steamroll me with dismissal and rabid craziness. I'm talking real aggressive, rabid, abusive emotional manipulation, and vague, generalized false accusations, inability to actually have a mature conversation without losing your shit on me, and then blame me for your upset and behavior. And here's the latest installment. You told me you wouldn't block again. Because, stupid games of, block and unblock, block and unblock, block and unblock. It's like, dude, you promised. Then you accused me of being avoidant, which is genuinely incredible because avoidance is the single defining feature of every problem we've ever had. You avoided telling Teresa about me or being honest with me about her. You avoided the conversation you promised me in November. You avoided every single difficult topic by blowing it up into World War III so you could make it look like my fault for even bringing it up. So when I calmly pointed that out, that you were accusing me of the exact flaw that destroyed us, your flaw, not mine, you could have just read it. You could have left it alone. You could have said something like, fair point, shame we didn't work on it harder. Have a nice day. Instead, you blew up, told me I was just being critical, told me fuck you. When I tried to call you to have an actual adult conversation to clear things up, you spewed nastiness, told me stop sending those messages, the messages where I literally responded to your accusation, then got too frustrated to even speak, cussed me out, hung up on me, and blocked me on social media. Again, destroying the peace we had already worked to manifest between us, and then deleted our entire Telegram chat history. Oh, man. The one you promised you would never delete again. So let me get this straight. You promised no more blocking. You blocked. You promised no more deleting. You deleted. You promised we'd have the conversation in November. You never did. You promised me a home, a loving, supportive relationship. You retracted it multiple times after getting me to trust you again. You promised, do or die, we will work it out. You discarded me the moment I asked you to actually show up for that promise. And now you're sitting there acting like you've done nothing wrong and had no effect on my life whatsoever. I spent 8 years of my life, probably longer actually, to be honest. It was 2017. So 9 years of my life believing you when you said you loved me unconditionally and wanted to be with me. Every single time you blocked me and came back wanting to be peaceful and friendly and work on the relationship. I believed you. I forgave your behavior. I let you back in every time because I thought you meant it. I stayed with you in Australia for 4 months away from my children, and that absence is where the fracture with my son began. Even though he doesn't remember those times now. Working in your office for pennies. It was like I was made to work 60-hour weeks, and it had to be 60 hours, basically, like, you know, on the phones, open with the phones, 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. And I think I was paid like the equivalent of $3 an hour. Yeah. Unbelievable how much he used me. Anyway, and that absence, even though he doesn't, while you were out there making thousands on jobs because your parents went overseas and you needed someone there. I never gave up on you. I never stopped trying to communicate, to figure out what I needed to bring to the table to repair things between us. And now I see clearly, your love was only ever conditional on me shutting up about the things you did to hurt me. It was conditional upon protecting your reputation rather than actually fixing anything. It was conditional upon me deleting the evidence and keeping quiet. You didn't want to love me, Grant. You wanted to use me for online sexting and nudes while keeping your real life, Teresa, your other friends, going out to sports games and the pub and stuff, your mother, the barbecues, the hiking trip with Teresa, completely separate from me. The level of manipulation runs deep, and now you cap it off with a threatening email. Am I understanding all this correct, me, please? Please, I've been so willing to be wrong about all this. All I wanted to do was for you to freaking acknowledge it. Acknowledge the damage you caused. That's it. You know, I'm no longer trying to find out what I did so wrong and so bad that the relationship is beyond repair. Because truthfully, nothing. I talked about my experience with you on YouTube. I told the truth, no lies. That's what set this off, isn't it? Not concern for my children. You don't know my children. You don't know their dad. And you have zero standing in my life. What actually bothers you is that the truth is out there with your name on it, and instead of looking inward and asking yourself why the truth makes you look so bad, you decided to threaten me. I'm going to say this again. If you didn't want to look bad, you shouldn't have done it. You know what you did. You violated my trust. You lied to me. You used me. And if you don't think that that had an effect on my life and affected my ability to be present in my kids' lives and be present to try to survive and get back on my feet after all this. Okay. You know, the stringing along, leading me on, back and forth, hot, cold. I trusted you with my most personal, most vulnerable, most intimate communication. I shared my body, my feelings, my fears, my struggles with you. And now you want to pretend like none of it happened and you had nothing to do with any of it. And you probably tell people, oh, she's just lying. Oh, she's just crazy. Like you told me that your ex-wife, Teresa, said about me. She's just crazy. Meanwhile, you're, you know, playing it cool with me and like, you know, yeah, we're going to get together. Yeah, we're going to have this life together, yada, yada. And, you know, carrying on with her at the same time. And now you want to pretend like none of it happened while simultaneously threatening to weaponize what you know against me and my kids. Stay away from my family. Stay away from my kids. Stay away. Stay out of it. With the little that I did tell you about things, Grant Neate, you have a very surface level understanding. And even so, you know exactly the real truth of what was going on because I told you about it. And now you're trying to pretend like you're like you don't know any of that, and you're trying to use what you know and twist it to use it against me. That's what it is, like twisting it to interfere with my kids and I. I will not be coerced by threats, period. But if you genuinely want to end this, not I want her to shut up end, but actually end, here's what that looks like. And this time it's on my terms, not yours. It's not conditional upon whether you're in the right mood for it or you, or whether you get what you want out of it. No. Put absolutely everything back to normal and leave it that way without ever breaking that promise again. Restore what you deleted. Stop the petty social media games. Get on a live video call with me face to face like an adult and give me a real apology. Not sorry you feel that way. A real admission of responsibility for your role in what has happened and the effect it's had on my life. Own your own side in all the BS without sidestepping anything you've done and claiming complete innocence. Acknowledge the psychological and emotional damage you created, that being strung along for years with promises you never intended to keep had a severe impact on my life, that your pattern of love bombing me, using me for sexual gratification, and then discarding me when real conversation hit the table. Okay, to finish off this long video, all right, so back to what this looks like. Acknowledge the psychological and emotional damage you created, that being strung along for years with promises you never intended to keep had a severe impact on my life. Not to mention, kind of some hurt feelings a bit, but, it's just my feelings, whatever, right? That your pattern of love bombing me, using me for sexual gratification, and then discarding me when real conversation hit the table was using me. And it wasn't nothing. Acknowledge that this pattern knocked me off track in ways that affected my ability to be present for my children, as well as present in my own life for myself, with regards to getting back on my feet after being knocked off. And that navigating your chaos on top of everything else contributed to the hardship I've been through. That you played a role in that, whether you want to admit it or not. Acknowledge that I trusted you deeply with my most personal and intimate communication and feelings, and that threatening to weaponize that trust is beneath you. Swear and mean it this time that you'll never be this nasty to me, threaten me, or do all that stuff ever again. And actually make peace. Be peaceful. That's how it ends. To make up and acknowledge it. Never, ever attempt to interfere with my relationship with my children ever again. Those are my terms. If you can come to the table with your half and actually care enough to make this right, not with threats, but with accountability. Accountability on both sides. Two people shaking hands saying, okay, I'm sorry I did that. Okay, I hear you. I understand you. I acknowledge I had a part to play. Then we can reach a peace agreement and settle this like two adults who once meant something to each other with truth and honesty and openness. The door is open, but it won't be open forever. And it won't be opened by threats. Your move. Schedule a call. Do your part to make this right again. Keep it right. You're honestly going to have to dig deep and do some soul searching. And meet me halfway on this. I don't want this just as much as you don't.